Hello, and welcome to a DLC episode of the Extremely Casual Gamers podcast with Ali, Chris, and Guy. This is a casual gaming podcast for the everyday gamer. And Guy, you have just been playing the new Astrobot game on PlayStation 5, and you want to chat about it. What's it like?
It is awesome. If I could just put it into a little nugget there, it is an awesome game. You've probably seen actually a lot of reviews have come out from, the big websites and shit. Like, they're putting it up as a potential game of the year candidate.
Wow.
And they're giving it like 9.5s out of 10.
Wow.
Which is, when I saw those reviews, I was like, am I playing the same game? Like, I'm not saying it's a shit game. It is a fantastic game, but I just thought 9.5, 10s is crazy for what the game is. Whenever I think of a 9 and Game of the Year candidate, you're comparing it to other years where it's like Baldur's Gate 3. And
The Witcher 3.
Yeah, The Witcher and Ghosts of Tsushima, like these real big world-building games, like these RPGs. So for a small platformer like Astrobot to be considered, it must be pretty good. And it is. Like, it is. The storyline is very simple in the sense that Astrobot, the cool little robot character that PlayStation have developed and essentially is going to be like their mascot going forward, is on a PlayStation 5 spaceship with 300 of his little Astrobot buddies that all look like different types of Astrobots and PlayStation characters. They're in space. An alien comes along, smacks the ship up, and scatters these 300 Astrobots across all these different planets, right? And then you crash land on a planet, and the whole premise of the game is to go from different planet to planet on all these different levels, find your buddies, send them back to the base, and then also find components of the PlayStation 5 that got broken off, bringing them back to the home planet and put them back into the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, right.
So it's a really simple storyline and premise to grab, right? People are lost. You got to go find them, right?
Yeah.
And there's, I believe, 80 levels for you to play. So you've actually got a decent chunk of game to play.
That's huge.
It's a platformer. So each level can take from 5 minutes to like 25 minutes, depending on your skill set and also just on how long and how difficult the levels are.
Yeah.
Because you can smash through a level really, really quickly if you just want to get through the storyline. But the Astrobots that you've got to find are actually quite well hidden. So it tells you before you go into a mission how many Astrobots you've got to find. So let's say there's 9. And as you find them, it ticks it up on the screen. So you could get like halfway through a level and you could find one and it could tick like the 4th
Oh, so you've
boss,
missed 3.
And you'd be like, shit, I've missed 3. So you can either finish the level and go back and replay it, or you can go back. And the difficulty really ramps up in the sense that a level can be really hard, really easy. And then you go to the next level and you're like, holy shit, I'm getting slapped around here.
Yeah, right.
So it's great for casual gamers, and it scratches that itch for, more veteran games as well. But I've been playing it with my wife, Meg, who loves to play video games, and she's played different types of games, but she's not as in-depth as a gamer as I am.
Yeah.
But she loves it, and she's gotten better at it, and she's the one that's suggesting that we play it, and she's the one that's like
nice
getting into it more than I am. I love just watching her play, which is actually a real abstract from the norm and how our dynamic works. Like she'll watch me play The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that it's hooking in.
It's
gamers.
inclusive.
It's inclusive.
Yeah.
Right? It is one player, obviously, but it's incredibly easy to pick up. There's no major mechanics. It's basically jump, double jump.
The bar for entry is super low.
Yeah, super low. And you guys have played it as well. It is visually beautiful.
It is.
The creativity that they've added into every single level is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then also, and I won't spoil it because, it's a cool game, but there's lots of PlayStation exclusive characters. And not just PlayStation exclusive, but other video game characters that you find throughout the game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Question, this is the thing that I was worried about. I've played Astro's Playroom, which is the free game that comes with every PS5. Little short game. It's about 5 hours long. It's like shows you how the controller works and the amazing haptic feedback. I played that, got all the little rewards, beat all the missions, and like platinumed it, which was really fun. When I originally saw the announcement, I was like, is it just going to be more of that?
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
But I've seen a few things that make me think it's actually they've taken Astrobot and started doing some pretty cool stuff with him. Yeah. He's not just flying and doing this. He has got all these crazy special powers for each different level.
Totally.
Like way more than I ever could have imagined.
Oh, cool.
It's definitely a sequel. Like it's definitely not just like they've taken Astrobot and made it longer. They've definitely upped it, which is awesome, because I had the same thought when they announced it at State of Play earlier on this year. Like that's just Astrobot, but they've just made more levels. Like it is definitely a love story to the PlayStation because of they a nod to all of these PlayStation games throughout the years and the PlayStation hardware and stuff. And also it's basically a game where they're like, we really want to just brag about how awesome the haptic feedback is in this controller.
Yes.
Because just everything about the game, even just moving your character, the footsteps, you feel it, the noises come through the speaker built into
well,
the
like if it's raining and stuff too, it can feel a slight pitter-patter.
It is it's awesome. It's the most interactive game I've played on the PlayStation 5 with the haptic feedback in the controller. Like other games touch on it. It's like as if this game's premise was make the game about the controller. Yeah. Which is really cool. But no, you're right. There are certain things when we about the game, the completionist side of it, like I mentioned, you've got to get all of the bots. There's these puzzle pieces. There's these like portals which take you to a separate area, which I didn't even know about.
Like challenge areas
and stuff like that. The speed runs.
That's all old school platforming. So
totally.
I think one of the reasons why this is like everyone's so high on it is because Nintendo is the king of platforming games. They're the only ones still making it. Mario, Galaxy, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, people love it. There's a certain market. We are more inclined. You and I, Guy, Ellie. I don't know. We're more inclined to play like an open world game where you play like a sort of realistic person doing cool stuff. Yeah, this is straight away over to the other side where it's platforming, little cartoony things, and I think. It's almost people are exhausted from having to start a new game in a massive open world. Every couple of months you put a new game in and all of a sudden a brand new huge bloody open world. Yeah. This one's just like straight into it.
Just jump into it.
There's nothing to think about. You don't have to learn too many systems.
You get to make the decisions on what planet you go to a certain point. Like it is linear, but you can go back to your home planet, which is where your PlayStation 5 is, and that's where whenever you save a robot, they all go back there. Mm-hmm. You can go back there at any point, and you can go back to any level that you've already played. Yeah. And, redo it, or if there's something you missed. But in terms of the storyline, because there's like 6, I think, main planets, and then you discover them at a certain time. Like you don't just plonk in and go, right, I've got all these planets, let's go find. Like there is, it nudges you along, without you making feel like as if it's like once the level's over, I have to go to the next level. Like there's no stopping it.
No, you can just
it's
chill.
not fully linear, but it's not fully open world.
Yeah,
which is nice. It means it gives you time to breathe. And it makes it feel like as if you're in control as well.
I liked it. Oh, you go.
No, you go.
I was going to say, I liked the day we went and played it together.
Yeah.
It was actually quite cool. Even though it was one player, it was fun to have turns at each level and see who could get through it. And I feel like it's a great group game. Like if you just have friends over, have it in the background, and I reckon that'd be a good place for it.
It is good like that.
Yeah. It's a fantastic game to play with friends. It's a fantastic game to introduce partners who are not really interested in games with kids. Fantastic game for kids. Brilliant game. Yeah. And also in terms of the difficulty, like I said, it's... If you want to do the completionist side of it and make sure that whenever you finish a level, like you've got all of your puzzle pieces and all of your Astrobots and stuff, you can keep doing that, which extends the time playing. Mm-hmm. But if you actually just want to get to the end of the game, you can just smash through.
And there is some, like, for people like me who like hard games, there is some genuinely hard stuff.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah, there were bits I couldn't do. Yeah.
So, like, there's certain levels that they put in as optional levels, so you don't have to do it unless you're pretty hard out, that are very difficult. But the thing that swayed me on it, and I will play it because I've got a code for it, and now that I've finished Cyberpunk, I'm going to look for other games to play. The thing that swayed me is I saw a small spoiler on Instagram, and I will just say, and this is a warning, if you don't want Astrobot, a small thing about it spoiled, all right?
Okay.
When we were playing the demo, we got to see that one of the bots you rescued was dressed like Kratos.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so cool. What I didn't realize was on Instagram, I was served a clip of you playing as Astrobot being Kratos.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So you don't just save bots whose gimmicks are they look like. For certain levels, you turn into the bot version of iconic characters.
And it keeps doing that because I got, it was the same thing. I was like, oh, cool, there's the bot. And then when I played it.
Try not to spoil too much more, but yeah.
Yeah. You go more into it. But then there was another level where I played as another PlayStation character. Like,
yes.
Oh, cool, this is something.
So you're actually being the Astrobot version of these characters.
Cool.
And I was like, okay, you just changed my mind.
Nice.
I'm not just saving little gimmicky characters. You actually become some of them.
That's cool.
Which is sick.
Nice.
So it is a fantastic game. Do I think it's Game of the Year? No, not at all. But I think it is a fantastic game. It feels like a breath of fresh air. It's not online. It's not pay to win. You're not buying loot boxes or anything like that. It's a fun little platformer that I would like to think our kids are playing now, and they will look back on like we look back on Crash Bandicoot. Or Super Mario. Like, did you ever play Astrobot as a kid?
Yeah. And I think it's also a game that you can play for 10 minutes. If you've got a spare 10 minutes, you just jam a level.
Yeah, absolutely. Like my kid will go to bed. My wife, who has to go to bed early, she usually goes to bed like half an hour after our kids. She'll be like, should we play some Astrobot real quick?
Cute.
And then we'll play that.
Cool.
It's rad. So, congratulations to our person who's won the game. We don't have any more to give away, but if you are on the fence about it, hopefully that changes your mind because it's a rad little game.
There
Bloody
you go.
brilliant.
Thank you so much for listening to this DLC version of the Extremely Casual Gamers podcast.
Bye.